Welcome to the Madroit Podcast. We bring you bite-sized marketing and sales insights to help you level up, no matter the size of your business. Tune in and answer the big question, what does marketing actually do?
Hey everyone, we're going to dive right in and begin talking about marketing for folks in the dental industry. What comes to mind when you think about dental practices?
Dental practices need to fill their chairs, right? So they need to attract new patients and replace patients who have left and do it in a cost-effective way.
Yeah, and I think the goal for dental practices is to keep their patients for as long as they possibly can, and obviously make sure that they're happy with the service that they're getting, because that results in them staying, but then also potentially referrals as well. So when we talk about dental marketing, it's about more than just having a website or running the occasional ad, as we've talked about previous, but it's about creating strong online presence, building trust, and consistently bringing in new patients. A lot of dentists will struggle with marketing because they either rely on cheap marketing from agencies that have maybe outdated methods, right? Or maybe there's a boilerplate approach when it comes to content, or they just don't necessarily market themselves at all. And so with that, what are a couple of things that I think dental practices in general should be aware of when it comes to marketing?
Yeah. Just like having a solid practice management software, PMS, being organized is vital, right? So is having a marketing system that works for you.
Yeah, I think those are critical elements to it. And I think why it's important is I think a lot of patients don't just want to walk into the nearest dental office. I think that goes without saying, as somebody who has changes to their dental office or have to bring kids to one dental office, not a great experience. Okay, maybe go to a different one. But we wouldn't have found that if we wouldn't have researched online. We compared reviews, we took a look at some of the most reputable practices. But without a strong marketing strategy, those practices would have never found their way to us, and they never find their way to potential patients. So they're never even considered. They don't even have a shot. So the normal ideal client profile, or ICP as we've referred to it previous, is like the mother typically as it brings the whole family, right? So if mom feels good about it or dad feels good about it, the whole family is going to probably look to adopt that. So that's an important thing to keep in mind when it comes to your strategy and who you're targeting. I think a lot of times we will see ads that maybe they have kids into them to generate some of that good feeling that mom and dad can feel good about, oh, they just had a great experience with the dentist, or it's their first time going. Okay, maybe we specialize in that first trip for your son or daughter to come in and have a really quality experience. So I think with that, Wynn, I'll turn it over to you. And how can your business, how can your practice build awareness and credibility through these online platforms?
From a high level, dentists can stand out by optimizing their Google business profile, running local SEO strategies, leveraging patient reviews, and using social media marketing, email marketing to build credibility and attract.
Yeah, so I think a couple ways is, if we look at website, is your website easy to navigate? Is it professional? Does it showcase what you want your audience to take in? So all those potential patients are looking for something. If it's, man, you do really well with kids, or you specialize in making someone smile, come back to glowing, I think those are all things that can take effect. So as it pertains to online presence, we know that there's some key elements that we want to dive into. Take us through why the website's so important.
Absolutely. So it's the foundation of your marketing and how you are represented online, whether it's your first or second impression. So really important to say the least. Want it to be professional, easy to navigate, with clear service descriptions and listing contact information, an option to book an appointment online. That's a bonus. Some go for it, some don't. But I think the overall biggest thing that I see in so many websites for dental practice, they're missing this. They're not showing the doctors, the team, and that relationship and the being authentic and showing yourself. People are in a vulnerable place, right? People want to trust the person that they're being vulnerable with.
Yes.
So showing who you are is so important for the website. And that helps with online presence, helps with building trust, helps to be authentic, so much more.
Yeah, I would just piggyback off of that and say, this is a play on your potential patient's emotions again, right? Like, We are human beings still, but that's also why we utilize things like SEO and local SEO in our marketing strategy, because we know that they're going to look for reviews. They want to hear about how other people felt when they went to your practice. And that's going to help influence their decision. I know when we made the change to our dental office, like that's what led to it, because we saw the experience that others had, but it 100% comes back to the team. And I mean, Michigan fan would tell you it's about the team. And so whether it comes to SEO and local SEO, or even on your social media with what you're conveying, make it have a level of vulnerability to show what separates you. Why does your team care so much more about my dental hygiene and making me feel like a comfortable, welcome patient when I walk through those doors? Because ultimately, I'm going to go tell my friends, I'm going to tell my family, yes, you should make the switch to this place because, man, they do such a great job. They take care of our family so well. So that speaks to how to leverage like some of those reviews and referrals. But to go along with the reviews and referrals, Win, I'd like you to dive into some of the communication that goes behind how do you ask for those referrals?
Oh yeah, there's so many ways to automate things like this, right? With the PMS that every office has, right? But that's just an automation. They're still not the person behind it. You have to tee them up to want to do that. So a friendly reminder before the visit, after the visit. Hey, if we do a great job, would you mind leaving us a review? It'd be really great. And then after a reminder, just saying you'd appreciate it, and then making it easy for them to follow up on that, whether it's a QR code in the office or an automated text or email that sends out after they've left the office. Really important when communicating that and asking for a review.
Yeah. And I think that's all a part of your communication strategy, right? Even the information that you dole out has to be factored into your marketing strategy because, as we have preached multiple times, marketing is not just about selling. It's about the storytelling. It's about being viewed as this authority in your industry and doing things like blog content or videos on topics on brushing your teeth and proper flossing techniques. And those are just like scratch of the surface stuff. But like, how about some techniques like my kid hates brushing their teeth? What do I need to do to help little Johnny or little Susie out and get them to like really start taking their hygiene seriously? And if that's two, three, four, five, I've heard different schools of thought as it comes to even like how often people should go. And I'm like, man, maybe there's like a myth buster in there to be able to
Yeah.
speak to that. But those are all value adds. And all it does is deepen your impression and creates more of an authority for you in that space.
Yes, the relationships you're building doing all of that is so impactful. And because you see the dentist every 6 months, right? There's a lot of time in between then where you could go somewhere else. That's if you've already booked another appointment, probably not. But the chance for a referral during that time by staying top of mind, and someone has a great experience, they can share something, or just like in conversation they mention you because they've seen your face a few more times since then. It's so impactful. And I think just to tag it, I think just being authentic is huge. There's so many generic posts out there in the dental industry because it's just cookie cutter social media posts or emails, templated stuff that it tries to fit every situation, and it just doesn't work anymore, but it's still out there. It's not great, and people don't buy into it. It doesn't get shares, it doesn't get impressions, it doesn't move the
Yeah.
needle.
Oh, 100%. And I think all of that comes with knowing who you are and sometimes taking that time to discover, go through that process and say, okay, these are our core values. These are our pillars. This is who we are. And this is who we are from a marketing standpoint. This is how we're going to communicate. And this is how we're going to differentiate ourselves in the market is huge. So maybe super appropriate after talking about all that storytelling and how it's not just about selling and how it's not always just about getting more patients. Let's talk about how to get more patients, just in case you're looking for that side of things too. Kick us off with and talk a little bit about local SEO and how that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So local SEO is so impactful, right? Because how many miles is someone willing to drive to go see a dentist, right? There's a cap to that,
Yep.
depending on where you're at, right? If you're in a densely populated area, smaller radius. If you're in a more rural area, people will drive further. But there is a radius. So marketing and doing local SEO, focusing on the Google business profile and leveraging that is just so important. Localized keywords reviews, just the proximity alone, if optimized, has such a big impact. And people often skip the website, right? Like maybe 50% go to the website to learn more, but 50% might just call because they've seen your name before, you built trust. And
Yes.
then you show up 1, 2, or 3 in the local pack on Google, and people are going to call. So hugely important. But there's other ways, of course, one being pay-per-click, if you want to jump in there.
Yeah, I think with pay-per-click, it's very interesting. And even as you talk about localized keywords and the impact that it can have on more of the organic side, I think the way that you structure your ad campaigns, but likewise your Facebook and Instagram campaigns, like you have two different sides of it, where you can look at Google as like the more search and the more conversion focused of those ads. Facebook and Instagram are going to bring out emotion again, and they're going to build more probably top funnel awareness is what I would consider it. And if you want to place emphasis and say one's more important than the other, I would say they both have their place 100%, because if a person doesn't feel good and all they do is search on Google and they see you, but there's no real feeling tied to it, then that may not be as valuable as when they're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and they see a video of somebody walking through your doors and they're very happy to see you because you've had this relationship with them for 25 years, or if they're brand new and they've had such a difficult time with their previous provider and now they're here and now they're having this great experience. So you can show all of that through social media ads. And I think the way that you structure those, as all consumers, clients, patients have done before, you've gone somewhere and you've left that website and it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to think about it anymore. Sometimes folks need a reminder, and I'm probably the one that needs a reminder the most. But utilizing retargeting ads is a great way to make sure that those folks come back and you stay with them. So now when it's 2 weeks later and they're like, hey, Jordan, did you book the kid's dentist appointment? No, I didn't, because I forgot right then and there. But that retargeting ad is going to remind me and save me from my wife yelling at me for not doing what I was supposed to do. So I think that's huge. And I think the ability to leverage things like social and content, from what I just said, the storytelling method, but what are some other ways that dental practices particularly can leverage social media and content marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few components there, right? Social media ties into what you're talking about for sure. For that to happen, they have to subscribe, like something, show up in the feed, have friends like and engage with content that you have. But it's a great tool to post and show a personality to what your practice is all about. Right? Tying that into content marketing, whether it's a blog post, a video on your website, you're building authority there and building SEO value there, as well as just educating people. So it's very beneficial to do. And then tying that into that blog into social again, posting about it on there, posting snippets from a blog post or a video on there is great. And then tying that into the email marketing where you're just sending reminders out, like, here's a new video on how to brush your teeth properly. For kids and for the adults who think they know but don't necessarily know, which we've all been like, when did we learn this stuff? We need a reminder. Brushing your teeth might not be the best example, but like it might be. Anyway, there's so many things you can do with it, and it's creating value. It's offering value for nothing, right? For free, and communicating that with people is so important.
Yeah, I can't possibly agree enough. It's funny that you mentioned the teeth brushing one, because even new technology as it comes to relating to your field, right? If that's in the dental world or the manufacturing world or any world, but a lot of times folks aren't going to know unless you provide that to them. I'm not actively going out and seeking what the best type of toothbrush is right now. But if my dentist tells me what the best type is, you better believe I'm going to believe them. So again, deepens the impression, builds authority. And then I think one last thing just to tie it all together is that community involvement and brand awareness. So I think day and age, I think there's something to be said about the office or the practice that likes to give back and likes to be involved. So if that's sponsoring a local event, or if it's being involved in the local travel sports team or school team, or even charity projects, those are all great ways just to get your name out there and to, again, just deepen your commitment to your surrounding area. So I think that's one thing that everybody looks for is a sense of belonging to their community, and they want to support the things that are in their community and help them do well. And putting yourself out there in that space can certainly be one of those things that really just propels that forward.
Absolutely.
So I think one thing that we can use to just compare this all to something, it's really marketing for the dental industry is really like dental hygiene itself. So if you look at SEO and branding are similar to like you're brushing and flossing, right? Small, consistent efforts that are going to prevent any type of problems or issues that you could potentially have, and ultimately keep your practice healthy and in balance. Your paid advertising is like a professional cleaning, right? It gives your practice that extra boost when needed. And I think it can do a lot to really showcase what you guys are all about. If we look at reviews and referrals from the marketing side as like whitening treatments, and the reason we do that is because those can really make your practice shine. And that's the goal for every review, right? We want those 4s and 5 stars as much as possible to make you stand out from your competition and get that score higher, much like whitening treatments will get your teeth whiter. Neglecting marketing is very much like skipping dental visits. Sooner or later, may not be right then and there, maybe the next one, maybe 2, 3 down the road, but it's going to cause a problem. And the longer that you put it off, the more difficult that problem is to fix. So ultimately, doing the things like the small, consistent efforts, getting that extra boost every now and again, getting that shine and that whitening treatment every now and again to really boost you up, I think is going to set you up for success when it comes to marketing.
All said. Love it. It makes me think, so story time, like we've helped dental clients fill their chairs and their schedule, crush their competition in SEO, Google, local pack marketing, reputation, build websites that build trust and are authentic and build the relationships and so much more. The cool part is they get to focus on their practice while we focus on their marketing, and it's a win, right? Like just cool stories like that. It's a lot of fun to work with dental clients because this is the side they didn't go to school for, right? They don't necessarily care. They just want people in the chairs and they want to represent themselves well, which I feel like so many aren't represented well by their agencies at times. Helped out plenty, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I do think anytime that you can tie it back to the direct impact that we on the agency side get to make for clients like that, it is truly a win and it really feels good.
Yeah.
All right, friends, that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.
That's all for this episode of the Madroit Podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions that you want us to talk about on the pod or want to get in touch with us, please visit madroitmarketing.com/podcast. Thanks for listening.